in Sausage Corner. It was, and
Sounds like a gay bar.
yeah,
I bet it is a gay
I
bar.
know.
Come on, Kate, what are you saying?
So hello and welcome back to the Red Shutter Club. I'm here today with John Witherspoon, who was actually one of my introductions into the music scene. I think that your show was one of the first shows that I went to, like, outside of the Monday Club.
Oh, great.
First one to get me out.
Which show was that? Do you remember?
One of the ones at Jimmy's.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, glad to be your introduction.
It was nice. It was nice to go. I was still, like, in the background, not talking to anybody.
Yeah, I remember you in the cavern like that.
Do you know?
Yeah, I think you just came a few times before you knew everyone. Yeah,
5 months I went without singing.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I was so scared.
Really? Honestly, like, that's mad, because you're not scared of singing at all now anywhere I see you.
Fair enough.
No.
It took a hot second.
You're doing
to
the
get
finale now.
there. Yeah. That was about a year ago, because I remember it was right around St. Patrick's Day. I actually was bullied to go up by a friend of mine who was like, "You go every week. Why aren't you singing?"
Yeah.
But yes.
That's good. You've come a long way now in 12 months.
Are you interviewing me? Oh, goodness. But yes, so how long have you been active in this music scene here?
About 10, 12 years. I was, funny enough, we were talking about Ali Horn on my way in, who's been in this morning. And I was thinking, how long have I known Ali? And it's like 13 years, I think. 2010, I saw him on Lark Lane in an open mic there. So I guess about as long as Ali. We've doing, and I think about 09, 10 was my first paid gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I suppose that's being active on the scene. And I lived in Wallasey and New Brighton all my life, so I wasn't hitting the open mics in Liverpool until 2011, 12 was when I really started getting to know people around here. And 10 years.
Well, the open mic scene was quite different before COVID, from what I've heard, yeah?
Yeah, I guess Monday Club was Monday Club. That was the same. It has changed because certain folks haven't picked up where they left off in 2020. I don't know if you've heard of Johnny Sands.
I've heard the name whispered in the background.
He was doing several things, and Johnny's great, and he's still flirting with a comeback, I think, because he did Saturday afternoon at Heebie Jeebies, which is like 3 o'clock till 6:30 in the afternoon, and it wasn't quite open mic. It was Johnny Sands presents ... and he'd invite certain players, and he also did Leaf every Tuesday night. So again, from that same time frame, like 2011, 12, I was good mates with Johnny and always turning up to his stuff. That Saturday afternoon thing is the gap I still see that is missing from the weekly circuit. You know, I'm always texting him. I mean, there's literally like petitions for Johnny to come back. He's that nice a guy and charming, and
we'll link him in the description.
yeah. I mean, I'm already shouting him out, but I've been talking to him about that Saturday afternoon again, saying, if you don't come back, I've got to do it, because every night's got open mics, but this was like a Saturday afternoon thing, and everyone came to it, because even if you had a gig, you'd come beforehand. And it was just cool, and we'd be outside as soon as it warmed up even slightly, because you had those heaters outside in Heebies as well. So even on a chilly day, it was like lovely to stand out there with live music. And so you're asking me what's changed. Johnny hasn't come back, and he was a big force in it all.
Well, that is the nice thing with Liverpool is there are so many open mics because there's just so many musicians. There's such a demand for it.
Mhm.
But then that comes back to bite you a bit when it comes to gigging in town.
Maybe, yeah. And if you're running one like me, sometimes there's 3 others. Jimmy's on a Thursday was doing my head in a bit because I was doing the Belvedere and
Competition.
yeah. Well, yeah, and I don't know. I'm not doing my head in, but yeah, you just sometimes you think we're up against it here to make this night particularly popular, and also a lot of people will literally jump around on the one night and go here and go here and go here. I don't get quite as upset about that as some people because I understand what it's like to just be like, I want to play and then I want to play again. But if it's me, I like to stay put. I've learned from Barry Jones over the years that if you stay put in one night and talk to people, and you'll get the most out of it that way instead of being like smash and dash, you know.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
It is. The first time that I actually made connections with people, I had been going to the Monday Club, but I would just be in the back by myself because I was intimidated by everybody, especially I think at the time I was really one of the only women who was playing, so it was especially intimidating. And then I went to Ditto, and at Ditto it's nice because it ends early and they're like, let's all go into town.
Yeah.
Go out after, and that's how you meet people. But if you just leave, you don't get to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Belvedere is a very different open mic from a lot of in town because it's unplugged and just quite, I don't know, it's quite intimate.
Yeah, it's just, I think we're more of a folk club, aren't we? Because when I think of folk club, I think absolutely no talking, but that's only, as you say, because of the size of the room. It's intimate, and it would be so weird and so rude if you just branched off into another conversation while someone was up. So it's just a tiny room, so that's what makes it different, isn't it? It's odd, and I think people get more nervous in that room than I was expecting, kind of thing. Even people who do it professionally and have done it all over the place, I can see it.
Oh yeah, because one of the chairs is like basically in your lap. It is that small of a room to fit all of the chairs. I know that growing up, I had uncles who were musicians, and so every family event turned into basically that. Yeah. But it's different when it's your family. Yeah. And not like a bunch of musicians who you've been looking up to and watching play stages like the Cavern. It's like, you can see every mistake I make. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. I think I played completely unplugged as well. I at a gig for years. I did Lark Lane, place where I ended up working. It was called the Moon and P for years, and I sang there like without a mic, and I don't know if that prepared me for that room better, so I don't really get too nervous. But I think some people are like, where's my reverb? I need the mic. I need the volume, and they don't like just sitting in a chair. And well, there's nothing to hide behind. No. But I love it. I love it more and more because I didn't want to run open mics until early last year, and it just happened that Ali Horn got in touch and said, I can't do the Keystone Thursday nights, but they're asking about it. Do you want to pop in? So I did. But it took me a long time to get into that role because I'm not good at the hosting. I just feel like I was always quite shy. What you said about the Cavern and not integrating and talking to people, I did that for years. I just liked playing and sometimes sitting on my own. But I'm really grateful for hosting open mics now because it's changed everything for me. It's like I'm getting more confident with it, and I just have more mates, and then your mates come to the gigs, and that's all there is to it. And I feel, not to just ramble on a tangent, but the scene itself is like better than I've ever known it to be. It's lovely and supportive, and I think everyone's great, and it's
I try and remind people of it, like it's like that it wasn't always like this or something.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking me about 10 years ago. I don't remember it being. I don't remember people singing each other's songs. Put it that way. And now we all know each other's original songs,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some really special nights happened for me where I've been at the dispensary, and I'll play some originals, and we have our gang singing along, which does something funny for the rest of the pub. I think people kind of maybe look up more and think, who's this by again? Should I know this? Well, it's just 6 weirdos singing each other's songs, and then John Lindsay gets up, and then Ollie gets up, and Blair gets up, and we all do the same. And I swear people are looking at and listening to Blair Lawson going, yeah, I should probably know this one. This is a tune. And that never used to happen. That like absolute, you know. See, James O'Donnell was saying you can't on this show that you can't. You got to play Sweet Caroline, or what did he say? You'll have a brick thrown at you or something. I know what he's getting at, but it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I play whatever I want,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we all should. And you know, unless it's like a wedding and they say you must play George Ezra for our first dance, like I'll swallow my pride then. It's a good fee, so I've got to do it. I've got to pay the bills. But no,
I guess it's their day, not mine. I guess I'll do it.
yeah. But no, I'll have to have a chat with James and say, listen, if you got a gig, play whatever the hell you want. Be brave, because it'll you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I know that's what Ellie Burke said on a lot of the musicians where I've been to their gigs. They throw in an original.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Everybody loves it. But it is interesting the effect that you're talking about, how everybody else in the pub is suddenly now paying attention.
Yeah.
Because everyone is singing along to a song that they don't know.
Yeah, even 2 people singing along
Yeah.
to this original song, I think, makes other people think,
Yeah.
something's going on here. Yeah.
Really, the power of suggestion. That's really interesting to notice that. I think there might be a section of the report on that now. Thank you, John.
Good.
In the dissertation. But so a big thing that we're looking into here is, building brand image and finding success in the community. But, in, I guess, any local music community, using Liverpool as a case study. What is success? Because you have to define it first.
Trying to remember what I wrote in the pre-survey thing.
Don't expose me
what
like
is
that.
success?
What pre-survey?
It's I know, sorry. Let me just check my lines. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Everyone's got a different opinion on success or what they want or whatever. And I know what I said to you. I said something like, if it's your job and you're supporting yourself, you've won. Like, so that's what I think about music, because I wasn't full time for a long, long time, and then I was like, I'm happy enough just being like, this is going fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's obviously a very different kind of thing where if you've got ambitions and you're organised and you're prepared to do the diligence, you're going to need to, aren't you? You know, and I'm very similar to James O'Donnell in it's just not my strong suit at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do it kicking and screaming. And I was actually making notes before I left about, my Twitter is completely dormant. I haven't touched it in ages. My Facebook is probably terrible. If you were a music manager, you'd be like, no, this is all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, I've got some things there, but I know that YouTube is everything. And if, why wait for the gig? Why wait for the stage? Because YouTube is the stage.
Uh-huh.
So just get your live videos on there. I understand all this, but I do kind of just float around and do what happens to me. And so what's the question? What's success? No idea. I'm jealous of people who've got their act together and they're doing great social media content every day. and building a fan base like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also proud of me, who's just over a long, long time built an amazing circle of people around me just by playing.
Yeah.
And just by turning up to things and just by hopefully being nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that can give you a good gig. You know, the last
Yeah.
gig we did at the Cas, I thought, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know everybody, they're all here.
Well, even just, we were talking about earlier, how just kind of being nice and enthusiastic can help you out. Like, I had gone to the arts bar the last time they had an open mic, and then the normal guest artist was ill, but that last time I had played like a song and a half. I shared a set with Ben Whitley because there weren't enough spaces, and Ben was like, "I'll get up here, Shan." But you know, because I was enthusiastic, and the lady who runs it, Lottie, was like, "Oh, we have the guest slots, we have the introducing. I'd love to get you on something like that." I'm like, "Oh my god, that'd be awesome." Me?
Yeah.
What? Me?
Yeah.
Because that was my genuine reaction. And then they had a opening the next week, and she's like, "Oh, someone's ill. Will you be the guest artist, please?"
Yeah.
So just like being open and being friendly people.
Yeah.
You know, it comes around.
Being there, yeah.
Sometimes faster than other times, but eventually.
Well, yeah, if you take 5 months to open your mouth, then you might have... but no, I love the way you did that. Like, took your time. And then, you're an integral part of things now. You know, I always say to people here, like, that's the other thing, it's small. So, if there was like a foreign lipper kid asking me, I'd just say, turn up everywhere, and within 2 weeks, you'll know everyone.
Yeah.
Like, at least how this circle that you mentioned, our thing, you just will.
Yeah.
It just takes no time at all, doesn't it? But yeah, and it took me a long time to realise, like, no, get involved and hang out and chat. It's not just about me. It's not just about playing.
Yeah.
But everyone's got that certain amount of ego and arrogance for a while, maybe. Or I did. And I know plenty who do.
Mm-hmm.
Finding their feet now, who do just kind of smash and dash. Yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's about getting involved and getting out the house as much as you can, I think.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah. And there is a bit of a syndrome of, if you're away for 2 weeks, everyone forgets who you are.
You think so?
Unless you're like established.
Or if
I
you're
have
really
found
good.
that. Yeah.
When you get up and play, I think I'll remember a song forever. If it's and you always go, remember that guy who turned up 9 years ago and sang that song about that thing?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
it's just so out there.
Yeah.
Like, who is it, that guy, the post-industrial urban
Yeah.
landscape, who gets
Sandy.
up, takes off his shoes.
Incredible
Yeah.
artist.
He's there every once in a while, but I will never forget.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I went to the Monday Club just to watch, it was in my first year of uni, because that was one of the things I saw about the city before I ever even moved here. And I'm like, oh, that seems really cool. That's definitely going on the pro Liverpool list.
Yeah.
But I remember the sausage song from the first time I ever went.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think I got there right as it started. And at first I was like, what? But I was like, oh, all right, okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's great. And that Sandy guy, I think he should, I can imagine him like supporting an established punk band or something.
Oh, yeah.
And just, yeah, if he did that, if he went on a tour with someone or whatever, he'd be in demand. His fan base would shoot up overnight. But he's another guy, I think, who just does it for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not, I don't think he has any social media online presence. He's just pure performer and better than most I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think he could, he could be booked for a gig, but it'd be a hard sell to go to the manager and say, this guy, you've got to have him. He's a cappella, doesn't play anything. He does poetry in a sort of punky style in bare feet, but he might also sing like old standards in the middle of it. He'll just sing Elvis. I didn't know he did that because I only saw him at Monday Club. But if you see him somewhere else, he's like, oh, I'm just going to sing yeah, a bit of Sinatra now for like he just
Casually.
this bizarre mix of, I guess, just things that he loves. Yeah.
But it's differentiation. Who else is going to do that here? Nobody does.
Nobody, and he doesn't need an instrument. It's just engaging.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So what do you mean with like ego and stuff? Expose
What do I mean?
the
What was I
community,
talking
John.
about? I was saying that I didn't integrate well enough at an open mic for years. I was there to play my stuff. I would watch if I felt like it, but I was quite happy to play and leave. Like, my work here is done, and that was ego, because I wasn't in it for the hang. I wasn't like Monday Club. When I eventually sat, it was literally sitting with Barry Jones in Sausage Corner. It was, and
Sounds like a gay bar.
yeah,
I bet it is a gay bar.
I know. I can't remember what it was that made me just think, no, I'm going to do 8 till midnight. I'm going to stay the whole time. And but the minute I started doing that, I was talking more and feeling more involved and feeling like I did my bit because I stayed and watched everyone.
Yeah.
And then maybe it gives you the right to be like, well, you should probably stick around and watch me because I was, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I meant by ego. And I think I meant it's just inevitable with younger artists as well. You're very focused on like your as quick as possible journey to wherever you're getting to. And you're not but then some people are different. Some people get it, don't they? They're just, they're young, but they understand that networking side. And even networking's a kind of ugly word for it, being sound and getting to know everyone is the best thing you're going to do. It's going to help you the most.
And I think people think, networking, it's like a very selfish thing. I'm doing it for something. A lot of times when you're sticking around at these events, what you end up networking for, it's almost like in your hindsight you were networking. Yeah. And then what comes out of those friendships that you make, you're like, oh. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And it has to be genuine. See, I call it the schmooze. Like, you see people who come in and work the room. Yeah. And it kind of makes you think, oh, you're a bit of a serpent, aren't you, really? Like, everybody needs to be in the picture, like, just go around. Or have you had a selfie yet with me? Just to be like, I came and I did the night. And it's all very... it's like watching someone's Instagram stories play out in real life in front of you. And I think, don't get me wrong, they're going to get places too, but it's conceited, isn't it? It's not what you just said, I think, is like, if you just go to enjoy yourself and go to be nice, then I say it's only later you look back and go, I wouldn't have met those 4 people and I wouldn't have got invited to play that gig. And I do kind of have this hippie belief that the best stuff that's happening to me is just falling in the lap because you were being sound, you were being yourself, and you love music, and that's it. Yeah.
And you can tell when a performer's being very genuine, it's going to be very hard to explain in an academic sort of way. But almost every interview so far has mentioned something about, like, you're going to get farther. I said that very oddly. You're going to get farther if you are just your genuine self and you play songs that are you and you just are yourself on the stage and are yourself when you're talking to people. Yeah. Because it's almost like you can gauge it. You can tell when someone's getting up and putting on a show. You can tell when someone's going up and they're trying to be Blair. Yeah. But they're not. Yeah. You can tell when someone's going up and they're trying to be like the same kind of person that John Lindsay is, but they're not John Like, you can tell when they're trying to be someone that they're not.
And maybe this is why I think the scene's so good as well, because we've just got loads of great distinctive, charismatic people. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, age though, like everyone imitates when you're younger. And everybody's trying to work out who they are. in life. So it's a bigger question, isn't it, than just like
Fair.
be yourself and be a real artist. You know, we're all insecure and but I like getting older because I think I am getting more authentic in everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a mess for, say early 20s to mid 20s. Just
God, so I should have high hopes then. It only goes downhill
You're all
from
doing
here.
great. Yeah.
So what has kept you in music all this time? The rocky world of the local music industry in Liverpool.
Well, I've definitely had moments where I thought it was slipping, but I think I've got the faith now that I'll always find a way to fall back in love with music, because I was always about fads. Growing up, like I'd try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and give up on everything, but music was the constant.
Mm-hmm.
The constant thing. So sometimes I just have to shake it up and remind myself that I'm not I got lazy, I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I scribbled it down, that if it's not still great sitting alone and singing and playing, like sat on your bed, I think you're in trouble and you're going wrong. And I've been there loads of times for long phases of time.
Mm-hmm.
I get in from a gig or an open mic, the guitar stays in the case and gets lashed somewhere, and I don't play at home at all for months on end. And I think that's when problems start happening. And I've only just moved to a new place and I really love it. So the goal now is get comfortable at that desk and stay in love with it, stay in love with the thing, listening, learning covers. I only write if I'm learning covers.
Yeah.
The writing happens by accident because I'm picking up new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it's all infinite, so you're always going to be learning tunes.
Yeah.
And you should be, otherwise, because before long you can do your set standing on your head thinking about 10 other things, and it might be working for the audience, but it's not working for your passion, your soul. You need a new trick.
Mm-hmm.
So when I feel like I'm sick of everything, it's because I'm not holding up my end. It's like a relationship, and if you work at it, music will always give you back special things. So what's kept me in it? I don't know. I might as well keep doing it. I might as well, but and sometimes I just have to remind myself of the ways to stay inspired and stay in love.
Well, that is quite a beautiful sentiment, and I think with that, we will head off to our little couch concert. Do you know what you're going to be playing for us today? No,
how many songs am I doing?
It's just the one.
Oh, just the one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll leave it a mystery then.
Yeah, maybe you can, I'll play a request if you got one.
96 and October 14th, my first day. Man, I'm nervous as the sky was grey. Good Lord. Met this kid and we got to talking, and we're talking still. I got in trouble for the big from Bill and us. Speaking with him was speaking bad of no one. God bless the new bride and saint. He told me that I could come and play, and I felt as big as Christopher's heart. '16, over the road from where the kid met me. I think it over in the cherry tree. Good Lord. Oh, what a ride, sir. I wouldn't change a single sky that's grim, or how today I know it's not just him and me. Coffee but Chris means coffee with his family. They're asking after my mum and dad. Easy to see how his mum and dad, they put the love in Christopher's heart. When Chris was marrying Joanne, I thought plenty friends come and go. But since we took our speck in the hallowed ground, no one ever went home. We settled down in Christopher's heart.
What am I doing? Just getting the guitar out now.
Oh, I'm just gonna say thank you for
Okay.
coming on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your performance, which has definitely happened already.
Okay, the performance is happening. All right.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, John. That was lovely.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for joining us on the show.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, Shannon.
Of course, anytime. And thank you for originally agreeing blindly before we knew what this shit show was going to look like. I appreciate your faith in me.
Oh, always.
All right. And thank you for joining us.
We got to talking and we're talking still. I got in trouble for the big phone bill in us.
What's Ian? Ellesmere Port, and I'm Wallasey. All the best Scousers are from elsewhere, you know. They're not actually from here. I'm guessing Ellie's a Scouser, though.